Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. But today, again, as I say every day, I will be breaking down for you the political quagmire that is right now rocking America. Raw and unfiltered truth, straight from the person who was there in the room. So do me a favor, hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share with your friends so that you too could understand the real story that they actually don't want you to hear. Now, let me go into this. Acting Attorney General James McHenry yesterday fired several career lawyers who worked on Jack Smith's investigation and the prosecution of Donald Trump. Now, I want to show you what the Justice Department official told NBC. Post it. Today, Acting Attorney General James McHenry terminated the employment of a number of DOJ officials who played a significant role in prosecuting President Trump, a Justice Department official wrote to NBC News. In light of their actions, the acting attorney general does not trust these officials to assist in faithfully implementing the president's agenda. This action is consistent with the mission of ending the weaponization of government. Now, let me be very clear about something. We have heard now for years upon years how the Biden administration via Merrick Garland had weaponized the Department of Justice against your favorite president, Donald J. Trump. I also want to remind you that in 2021, when I started writing this, finished in 2022, how Donald Trump weaponized the United States Department of Justice against his critics when I was unconstitutionally remanded to prison. It's why I want to tell you, this show is important because we get to the bottom of what's really going on here. And I also want to show you a part of the letter that was sent to the fired individuals. The letter sent to the employees who were fired specifically cited their roles in investigating Trump. And here's the quote. "You played a significant role in prosecuting President Trump," the letter said, according to parts read to NBC News. Again, the quote, "The proper functioning of government critically depends on the trust superior officials place in their subordinates. Given your significant role in prosecuting the president, I do not believe that the leadership of the department can trust you to assist in implement the president's agenda faithfully." Now, this is really kind of an interesting thing. While I acknowledge what Trump is saying here, I absolutely do. Can you trust these individuals? And while I was watching CNN and listening to Elie Honig, who is a career prosecutor himself, complain about, well, now you're questioning their integrity. Damn straight we are. Damn straight we are. As the one and only guy right now in America who is unconstitutionally remanded by overzealous prosecutors for a weaponized Department of Justice. Hello, Bill Barr. Yeah, fuck them. Fuck them. They deserve exactly what they're getting. You see, it's easy to dish it out, but it's not easy to take it. Now, I want to go one step further. That at the same time, Ed Martin, the acting head of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, he announced that he's launching a special project to look at the use of an obstruction of justice charge, which the Supreme Court determined had been used too broadly against some of the January 6th defendants. And I want to show you a part of the statement that Martin wrote on Monday. It says, he wrote Monday that the two officials he selected would need to issue a preliminary report by Friday. And he asked all employees to pass along, in quotes, all files, documents, notes, emails, and other information about the use of 18 U.S.C. Code 1512, which prosecutors often refer to as the 1512 charge. Martin referred to the review as Project 1512 and called it important work. Obviously, the use was a great failure of our office, Supreme Court decision, and we need to get to the bottom of it, Martin wrote in an email obtained by NBC News that also reminded U.S. Attorney's Office workers of the hiring freeze and the Trump administration's steps ending all DEI efforts. Now, I want to go a little further here because to complicate matters, NBC went and explained Ed Martin's background. Before he joined the Trump administration, Martin was a Stop the Steal advocate who spoke at the Capitol on January 5th and was on the Capitol grounds during the January 6th riot. He also was on the board of the Patriot Freedom Project, which advocated for January 6th defendants and held fundraisers at Trump's properties. In addition, he was an attorney for at least 3 January 6th defendants. Get a load of that. He was the attorney for 3, and he spread conspiracy theories about the attack on the Capitol, falsely claiming that the riot was a setup staged by a person he dubbed Mr. Coffee. This is real crazy stuff. I mean, I want you to think about it, that the guy who is now the interim, who is now putting together a special project, Project 1512, is a guy who not only represented some of the defendants, and yeah, it's only a couple, but also was there on the grounds and is a denier of what we all saw and we all heard. Maybe not the best choice to put in at this specific moment by this new administration. Not that the issue is wrong. Maybe it's just the messenger who's wrong. Now, Caitlin Collins, she spoke with Representative Dan Crenshaw about these issues, and she asked him if he thought the American people elected Trump to get revenge on federal prosecutors. Play the clip.
On what we saw happen today, do you believe that the American people elected Trump to get revenge on federal prosecutors?
I think a lot of people did. Whether this is considered revenge or not, I think is open to interpretation. I think a lot of these federal prosecutors, one might argue, were going outside the bounds of what their prosecutorial duties might be. I mean, you could go on a case-by-case basis, but...
Yeah. I mean, Dan is 100% correct. I mean, it appears that that's exactly what the American people want. They want to see a complete burning down of the Department of Justice. By the way, I called it in my own book, Revenge. I think the entire DOJ needs a complete makeover, but I'm not so sure the makeover is supposed to be about what we saw or what we heard. Now, she also asked him about the legality of the firings. Play that clip.
It's not that crazy to see to see him purge a lot of the ranks right now.
Yeah, but do you believe that it's legal?
It's
they
his
do
administration.
enjoy civil
It's his
service
administration.
protections.
By definition, it's his administration. They work for him at the pleasure of the president. And if it's illegal, it should be legal. And that's, look, the firing of federal employees being so difficult as it is, that's something that we need to address as a country, just to make our government more efficient. I mean, that's a longer conversation, but it should be legal, yes.
But if it's not currently legal, they do enjoy these protections because they are civil service employees, they're career prosecutors. And the point of that is to have people who are insulated from the politics of the political appointees who he does have the right to put in place there.
No, every federal worker works for the administration, which works for the president.
That's 100% true. Every federal worker works at the pleasure of the president. However, the law is still the law. And the law says that you have to notify Congress and you need to give an explanation 30 days in advance of the termination. It's just simple. Imagine if it was the other way around, that Joe Biden did that. Imagine the attacks, not only that would be lodged against him by the Republicans, but by the Democrats as well. It's amazing how members of Congress are twisting facts simply to stay on message. Now, I want to finish by showing you that on Abby Phillips' show last night, she caught Scott Jennings in a hypocritical moment when discussing the DOJ. Play that clip.
Then if Joe Biden wanted to go after Donald Trump because he wanted to go, the Attorney General should be able to do it, and there was no.
He did go after Donald Trump because Joe Biden didn't want to do it.
He had a special prosecutor. He had but at
the order
of the president. But then why is it wrong? Then why is it like?
Hold on, Scott. You just said something that's not correct.
What?
You tried to slip it in there. You said at the order of the president. That is completely false.
He did not appoint the prosecutor.
It is completely false that Joe Biden ordered the creation of someone to investigate Donald Trump. That did not happen.
No. What do you? I mean,
you just said that, and that didn't happen.
They had a special prosecutor under the Biden administration that went after Donald Trump. They did not.
Under the order of the president.
All these things are in the executive branch.
I get that.
This is my argument.
I get the
it is an executive branch,
Scott,
and the president's at the top of it.
You have no evidence that Joe Biden ordered the investigation.
He said on the record multiple times that Donald Trump should have been thrown in jail, and said that Merrick Garland failed by not doing it.
If Ashley's point is correct, that you think that it's just fine for the president of the United States to order whatever investigation he wants, what's wrong with that?
I think I am making a simple personnel argument.
No, what's wrong with it?
The Justice Department exists in the executive branch.
Hold on.
It exists under the president. It is not an independent agency.
If that is the case, then what would be wrong with Joe Biden? If that's the case, what would be wrong with Joe Biden saying, I'm going to order the Justice Department to go after my political enemies? Wouldn't there be nothing wrong with that by your logic?
Well, I don't think that there's any problem with the president as the head of the executive branch telling the Justice Department, I think things need to be investigated here.
That is quite.
But it's up to them. It's up to them to decide whether laws were broken.
That is quite an extraordinary acknowledgement after 4 years of saying the Justice Department has been wrongly weaponized against Republicans. Right. You are now saying it's okay.
I'm not saying it should be weaponized, but it doesn't exist separate from the president. It does not.
We have no evidence that Biden ordered it.
Yeah. You see, that's the problem with failed logic. And Scott Jennings does that often. And, there are times I agree with him, but not this time. It's failed logic. You're right. Abby Phillips is right. For 4 years, Republicans have been attacking Joe Biden as improper and everything that he was doing with the DOJ and with investigations into Trump and so on, despite the fact that they were recommended by Congress. Putting all that aside, here Scott Jennings is saying it's absolutely okay. So which one is it? It's okay now because it's Trump who's the president, but it wasn't okay when it was a Democrat. This again is the failed logic. And these are the things that we need to be discussing. These are the things that we need to keep front and center and make sure that this community stays strong and vigilant. And as always, thanks for listening.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. We're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.